Hey y'all, here's a fun little project. We're going to be replacing all of the smoke alarms in my grandma's house. There's two battery operated ones out here, a smoke and a CO. In the bedroom, there's hardwired next to this dumb thing that's battery powered right here as well. So first we're gonna find the breaker, turn that off, and then we can get to work. So first we're gonna demo this battery operated detector, which does not seem to have a replaceable battery. But interestingly, I've never seen this done before where they took the original hardwire detector down and then put the battery operated one right on the same box on top of it. They left the wiring harness on there, but that's not too big of a deal. You know, I'm gonna have to change them out on all of them anyway, so yeah. But this one right here, I got a smoke CO combination detector, putting the screws in the box, and then I'm going to put the new wiring harness on there, but the wire's a bit short, so got to get those wire strippers and just pull some of that jacket off, and then once you get that, then we can start actually wiring that thing up there. This is pretty simple. You just got to match the colors. Really anyone can do this. I know they always say, oh, get a qualified electrician to do it. Well, who really wants to spend $500 on something like that? You know, it's very hard to mess something like this up, in my opinion. And then you can see the base plate. Like, see, this is, for me, this is simple. You know, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna chastise anyone who thinks that they can't do this. You know, I know there's a little bit to it. Like, you had to turn that thing to activate it, and then you twist it on the base. Here's one of the original ones. This one's actually mounted on an octagon, and you can see this, I guess you could call it the end of line because it's the end of the actual branch circuit, but it doesn't really mean nothing because none of these are monitored. I mean, they are for faults. You know, the specific one will beep, if there's a fault, and it'll even flash yellow. And then you can see I'm taking down that thing, and then here's this one. I don't even know how they had the battery operated one in the ceiling. Like, the ceilings back then must have been made of, like, I don't know, just crazy to hold those screws in there like that. And especially with this popcorn ceiling, got to be careful, make sure I don't scrape any of that. Eey. But yeah, see, this is pretty straightforward at this point. Now that I've done one, now I can just fly through the rest of these, and basically just getting that up there, and struggling a little bit. There was a flathead screw in that, so I decided to take that dinosaur out and just use drywall screws instead, and then take that CO down, and now we're done. Now it's time to test it. As you can hear, it just did the temporal ANSI code for carbon monoxide. That's a function that these have built into them. The ones in the bedrooms are not capable of detecting carbon monoxide, but the one that I put outside of the furnace is. And the ones in the bedrooms are capable of transmitting that signal. Now testing all the other ones, it's only going to do temporal code 3. It's not going to do the ANSI 44 for carbon monoxide. That'll only happen when you test the carbon monoxide detector, where it does the temporal 3 twice and then the temporal 4 twice and then stops. That's something that's really nice about these detectors. And if there's a fault and it's beeping, you can press that button, it'll hush it for 10 hours. As always, I hope y'all liked the video. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll talk to y'all real soon.